ladies and gentlemen, once again. My name is Greg Young, and I'm coming to you live this morning from Davenport, Florida. And this morning in my morning live wake-ups, I want to talk about a topic that, we should all be aware of, and we should all be trying to do our best to do this at all times. And it is learning how to become a great role model for our children. And the reason why I say that this topic is so important is because of the simple fact of people don't realize that the impact that they have on their children's, upbringing within the things that their children see them do. So that's why I said we have to learn how to be a great role model for our children if we want our children to turn out to be great people, to be people that's going to impact the world, people that's going to make a difference in people's lives, people that's going to create change in people's lives. And if we want our children to be those type of people, then we have to learn how to become a great role model for them so they can become those type of people. And it's based upon, we have to watch what we do and what we say around our children, because we always know that at some point in time our children are always watching us, and they're watching what we do. And see, the thing that we have to realize the most in life is what they see you do, that's what they're going to do. So if they see you going out here and drinking and partying and doing all things that's not right, then that's the way they're going to turn out. So we have to realize that we want our children to turn out to be, great children, to make a difference in the world and become someone that's known. Then we got to present that role model as someone that's known, someone that carries ourselves with pride and dignity and respect for others, and someone that does all those in particular things. And that's when, us as a whole, we can become, better role models for our children based upon the way that we carry ourselves. So if we want our children to be productive in life, we got to do productive things around them. We got to let them always see us doing something productive. If we want our children not to be negative in life, we've got to not speak negative things around them. We've got to not do negative things around them. We got to keep negativity out of their spirit and keep positivity in their spirit if we want them to be positive. Because what we have to realize, our children are a replica of us, and what they see us do, that's what they're going to do. That's why so many people, so many parents, and their kids grow up and they end up getting into trouble and doing all these different things, but they do that because that's what they seen their parents do. And see, what we have to realize, if we're out there selling drugs and our kids see us selling drugs, that's what our kids are going to do. Our kids are going to do what they see us doing. If we're out there, causing trouble and getting in trouble every 10, 15, 20 minutes, and in and out of jail and in and out of prison and doing all these different things, that's what our kids see us doing. So that's what they're going to do. So that's what we don't want to do. We don't want to set those type of examples for our kids. We want to set a better example for our kids. We want to set a great role model for our kids. We want to be that role model that everyone wants to follow. And the way you become a great role model for your kids is be that person that everybody wants to follow. Be that person that is the greatest at whatever you do. And just know that you're doing what you need to do. And when you're around your kids, do what you need to do. Say what you need to say. Watch what you say around your kids, because the words that your kids hear you say around them, they're going to in turn repeat them. And you don't want to be saying nothing around your kids that they have got in term and they repeat, and then now you're out in public somewhere and you're in a public place and you're around some people that's well known, that really respect you, and then they hear something come out of your kid's mouth that is like totally disrespectful. That right there in itself damages your character of the people that you're around. So you don't want to say nothing or do nothing that can hurt you in the long run when it comes to your kids, because you don't want them to pick up what you have done And you also want your kids to learn from your mistakes. So you need to, sit your kids down and tell your kids along the way, and don't be afraid to tell them the mistakes that you made along the way. And if you had a chance to do it over, you would do it different. And the reason why you're telling them is because you don't want them to fall victim to the same things that you fell victim to growing up. And you have to always learn how to teach your kids and train your kids in ways to where they can be respectful and they can respect others and they can do all these things. And then it's never too late for you to train your kids, how to develop a mindset of thinking positive at all time and having a positive attitude and having the willpower to succeed and be strong and want to do good things in life and want to accomplish something that's good in life. Because you have to realize that the things that you do, when you do them, how you do them, reflects your kids if they're around and they see you do them. Because your kids is going to do what they see you do. And the reason why they're going to do what they see you do is because you're their parents. So by you being their parents, they're believing that what you're doing is right, even though it's not right. They're going to believe that it's right because you're their parents, and they believe that you're going to teach them right from wrong. And the thing that you're doing is right, whether it's wrong or not. So that's the reason why I say, be that good role model. Learn how to be that good role model for your kids, because they are the ones that's going to represent you in the long run. And if you want your kids to have a good representation of you, then you got to be a good representation of yourself. Then you got to do positive things. You got to think positive. You got to impact people. You got to change the world. You got to do things to make a difference, to help people, to lift people up and not tear people down, to help people when people are in need, to encourage people to do better, to teach them how they can become a better person by listening, by learning, by getting education, by doing the things that they need to do in order to be prosperous. But you have to teach them those things, and you have to learn yourself how to become a great role model for your children so you can teach them those things, because you cannot teach your children nothing when you don't know nothing yourself, when you're not doing what you need to be doing in life and setting a great role model for your kids. You're not doing nothing productive, because what you have to realize, if you're sitting around not doing nothing productive and your kids see you sitting around not doing nothing productive, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to follow what you do. If you're sitting around and you don't want to do nothing with your life to improve your lifestyle, to show them and create to them that they can live a great lifestyle on this earth, and they can live a lifestyle of fun, freedom, and fulfillment, and you're not showing them how they can live that lifestyle, then they're going to settle. They're going to do the same thing that your parents taught you: go to school, get good grades, graduate with honors, and go to college and get a degree and get a good job. But then they're going to end up being in the society of failed victim to being time broke, living from paycheck to paycheck, drowning in student loan debt. So why would you want your kids to go through that same thing that you went through and go through that same living, that poverty living that you went through, or that average living that you went through, when you can provide a better way for them by showing them through what you're doing is a success and is working? So now your kids is going to want to do it if they see you doing it and they see you being successful. Because what you have to realize, what you do reflects your kids' attitude for them growing up. What they see you do, that's what they're going to do. If they see you doing business and they see you making a difference and impacting other people's lives, that's the drive that they're going to have. Just like my son, I got a 7-year-old son about to be 8 next Wednesday, but he looks at me and he watches me, when I'm here speaking in public and when I'm doing my business presentations, and he watches and he sees how I does what I do. And now that makes him want to do it. He told me, he was like, yeah, Daddy, I want to do what you do. But why do you think that my child, my 7-year-old about to be 8-year-old, wants to do what I do? Is because he's watching me and he sees that I'm a great role model for him, and I'm doing something that's positive, and I'm making a difference in people's lives, and I'm changing people's lives, and he wants to do that because he knows that that's something good to do for the world. He knows that helping people is a good thing because I've taught him that. But I only told him that because he's been watching what I do. So that's the reason why I say we have to learn how to be a great role model for our children, because we don't know when they're watching. We don't know what they're listening to. But if we want to get them on the right path to where they can live successful lives and be able to have the things that they want out of life and not have to live in poverty like we did coming up, and not have to just settle because we didn't know no better, we can change the society of the way our kids are being grown up by changing our mindset and the way that we do things, and our character, and the way that we carry ourselves, and our pride and our dignity that we have for ourselves within the way we respect others. Because if our kids see us respecting others and caring for others and trying to help others, they're going to do the same thing. So that's what you have to realize. And a lot of people sit back and say, man, I don't know why my child does this and does that. But you have to look at what did you do around that child when that child was growing up. Because you have to realize what you did around that child when that child was growing up. That child did not know right from wrong. So it felt like what you was doing was right because it seen you do it and you was happy doing it, and you was praising yourself for doing it even if it was wrong. So that's why you should not support wrong and let your child see you doing wrong and support wrong and get them to believing that doing wrong is right. You cannot do that. You have to set a great example for your kids if you want them to become great children, and children and once they grow up and adults that's going to make a difference in the world and it's going to create change in the world. Then you got to create change in yourself, and they've got to be able to see that change in yourself, and they've got to be able to understand that that change that you have created in yourself is the best thing for them, and that's the best role model that they need to follow is what you're doing, because what you're doing is right. But you got to make sure that before you create a role model for your children, you got to make sure you're doing the right thing that's going to lead them to do the right thing, to be productive, to want to go out here and help people, to want to live a lifestyle of fun, freedom, and fulfillment, and don't want to be like the ball and chain that's trading time for dollars, for the rest of their life or for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. You can break that cycle. You can stop your children right now from ever going into the industry of working any type of job for anybody by your role model that you're creating right now for your children. So my question is to you, are you creating a great role model for your child that you want them to follow? And if you're not, I challenge you today to start creating that great role model that you want your children to follow if you want them to be successful in life, if you want them to make a difference in life, because it all starts within you and what you say and what you do and what they see you do and say, because they're going to follow what you do because they don't know no better. You're their mother, you're their father, so they believe that whatever you're doing is right, even if it's wrong. They're going to do it because they see you making a living doing it. So that's why I say you have to watch what you do around your children. You have to watch what you say around your children, and you have to learn how to become this great role model around our children, because they depend on us. They depend on us to guide them to the next level in life, because they don't know. And just like I said yesterday, when learning how to live a more productive life, this falls into learning how to live a more productive life, because if you learn how to live a more productive life and do more productive things, and your children see you doing more productive things, now they're going to want to do more productive things. Now they're going to follow what you do, because you made a difference, and they know you made a difference because they seen the people's lives that you impacted and that you changed and that you helped. So now they're going to want to do the same thing. But on the other hand, if they see you always going around gossiping and talking about people and putting people down and talking about how sorry this person is and that person is, and you ain't no much better than that person, that's what they're going to adapt. You don't want to adapt the state of mind of where if you ain't got nothing good to say about somebody, keep your mouth shut, because it's not right for you to judge somebody when you don't know their situation. It's not right for you to judge a book just by its cover when you haven't read through the pages. So you don't know what's going on in somebody's life, so you don't have the right to judge them and talk about them and say, hey, they're not doing nothing in life because you don't know their story. So you don't want to do that because you don't want your children to see you do that, because the Bible says, judge not lest ye be judged. So we all need to look in the mirror at ourselves and judge ourselves before we judge someone else. Because if your children see you passing judgment on people, they're going to become judgmental people, and they're going to believe certain things and believe certain ways. And now they're going to be messed up just like society is today by being blindsided by the ways of what we were taught. We got to learn how to change our children's mindset from how we was taught growing up and give them a different mindset of how they can think with their subconscious mind, and they can believe more and they can achieve more and they can do more. But the only way they can believe more and achieve more and do more and receive more is if you show them how they can get more, how they can receive more, how they can achieve more. But it's all within you in learning how to become a great role model for our children. That's what we have to do, because we have to realize that everything that we do, our children are watching us at some point in time. You may not think they're watching you, but they are. So that's why you got to be the best role model that you can for them. And I'm not saying that we're perfect, because we're not perfect. We all make mistakes. But what we have to realize when we make a mistake, we have to realize that we made a mistake, own up to that mistake. And if our children is around and see us making that mistake, explain that to our children. Say, hey, you know what? Daddy dropped the ball. He made a mistake and he did this. He did A, B, C, and D. I don't want you to do that, because that's not going to be good for you. Look at how it cost Daddy. You got to let them know how your mistakes cost you in life, and now they know that they don't want to go out and make those same mistakes. But if you don't never explain to your children about life and what life is all about, when they grow up, they have not a clue. If you're not a good role model for your children as they grow up, then they have no good role model to go out there and follow. They're going to follow what you do. They're going to do what you do. They're going to say what you say. They're going to act the way you act. You know, they're going to have the same character that you have. So that's what you have to realize. You have to learn how to become a great role model for your children. Because if you cannot learn how to become a great role model for your children, you can't be a great role model for yourself. And the only way that you become a great role model for your children is that you become the person that everybody wants to follow. If you become the person that everybody wants to follow, now you're a great role model for your children, because of the simple fact you're setting a great role model for the world, and the people of the world are following you and believing in you and trusting in what you're saying, and you're giving good advice, and you're uplifting the community instead of tearing it down. You're creating change in the community instead of, trying to keep it where it's at. You're giving advice to the people instead of trying to not give them advice. You're trying to show them and teach them how they can live a better lifestyle, so they can teach their children how to live that lifestyle as well. And now they're learning how to become a great role model. But what you have to realize is based upon what you do and what your children see you do determines what type of role model you are to them. So what I'm saying to you this morning, if you have not been a great role model in your children's life, I challenge you from this day forth to start becoming a great role model in your children's life. And it doesn't matter about how old you are. Don't look at that, because we've all made mistakes. But if you've made some mistakes down the line in your children's life, even if your children are grown right now and you made mistakes and you see them going down that same level of mistakes that you made, you got to go and reach out to them and tell them, say, hey, son, or hey, daughter, look, I don't think that's a great idea. Let me sit you down and let me tell you something. I was in that same situation and I did this, and this is what happened. If it didn't turn out good, let them know that choice is not going to be a good choice, so they don't have to fall and bump their head like you did. You can break the cycle of all the things that we have been taught to do with the conscious mind way of thinking. You can break the cycle for your children by thinking with your subconscious mind and teaching them how to think with their subconscious mind at a young age. Because if you teach them, the Bible says, train up a child in the way that you would have them to go, and when they're old, they will not depart from it. That's a true statement, but it's all within your teaching and you being a great role model for your children and doing the right thing and showing them how they can get to where you are if they just watch what you're doing and you set a good example and you be a great role model. Thank you for stopping by, Lazel. Good morning. And you be a great role model for your children, because you have to realize your children is going to do what they see you do. If you're not being a great role model for your children, then you cannot guide them to the level of success. See, a lot of children have failed and became victim to the system because they didn't have a mother at home. They didn't have a father at home. But you are the mother and you are the father and you are at home. So be that great role model for your children and help your children out. And not just your children that you have at home. You may have grown children that are going through certain things in life, and go talk to them and tell them, sit them down and say, hey, son or daughter, I'm not trying to get in your business. I'm not trying to tell you how to do this, but I've been there and I've done that. And when I went there and I've done that, it didn't turn out pretty. So I'm just giving you this advice to let you know that I don't think that's a good idea if you make that decision to do that. Take it from me. I have experience. It didn't turn out well for me. And then if you go to your children and you tell them that, then maybe they'll think, they'll say, you know what? You know what, Dad? You know what, Mom? Maybe you're right. Maybe I should rethink that decision. Maybe I should do some more research before I just decide to jump into doing something. You do not know how much of a great difference that you will make in your children's life, whether they're children that's still living with you, children that's grown. When you see them about to make a mistake, go to them and say, hey, son or daughter, look, let me just tell you something. I'm not trying to tell you how to run your life because I realize you've grown, but I just want to give you some advice. And if you go to them within a way to where you're not trying to tell them what to do and you're just giving them advice, they're going to take it. Whether they use it or not, they're going to take it. That advice is in the back of their mind and in the back of their head. And now they're looking at the way you're living now versus on how the way you was living when they was coming up. And now they see this big change in your life. And now that's going to make them hungry to want to be like you, because you're learning how to become a great role model for your children. And that's what you have to realize. No matter what, no matter how old your children get, they are still your children. They could be grown, but they're still your children. So you should always be there for them to help them when you see them going down the wrong path or doing the wrong thing. Now, granted, you can give them advice, but then a lot of times there's a lot of children out here that's hard-headed that won't take it until they bump their head. Now, in that case, that is nothing you can do. You know that you did what you had to do. You know that you went and you told them about how it went when you decided to go down that road and what happened to you, and you did what you had to do. Now, if they chose to go down that road after you have told them, there's nothing you can do. You have did your part. You have been that great role model for them, and you have shown them from your mistakes what happened. Now, that advice, if they don't take it and they say, well, I'm grown, I do what I want to do, then okay, hey, do what you want to do. But don't forget about them. Always watch them. Always be there to help them when they fall, to let them know, hey, you know what? I get it. I understand. I was a little hard-headed too. I made the same mistake. I'm still here. I'm your father. I'm here to help you. I'm going to pick you up. We're going to dust ourselves off. We're going to get through this together. I'm going to help you get through this. And when you learn how to be a great role model for your children, and you help your children out, and you be there for them, whether they're grown or whether they're little, and you give them good advice as they continue to grow a year older in life, I guarantee you, you will make a big difference in their life, and you will be that respectful parent that they will always respect and come to you when they need advice. But you've got to learn how to be that great role model for them. And how you be a great role model is you, the way you carry yourself, the example that you set for yourself, the things that you do, the words that you say that comes out of your mouth, your posture, your character, your honesty, your respect, your dignity, your pride. All those things revolve around you learning how to be a great role model for your children. But you cannot learn how to be a great role model for your children if you can't be a great role model for yourself. That's what you got to learn first. You got to learn how to take back control over your life so you can do what you need to do, so you can show your children that they can do the same thing that you're doing, but you can't show them if you ain't learned how to be a great role model for yourself. So what you have to do, you have to provide ways to let them know that there is a better way out than just settling for something. You have to let them know if they want to accomplish anything in life, it is a task, but it's not unreachable. If you want it, put your mind to it, have consistency in doing it, and be dedicated to it, and have honesty, respect, and integrity towards your journey in doing it, and you will receive it. You have to instill that in your children and let them know, because a lot of your children, they don't even know what honesty, respect, and integrity is. But those are the three keys to being successful in life, because if you have honesty, people like you. If you have respect, people like you. If you have integrity, people like you. People like you when you have those things, when you possess those things, because people know that you're out to help them and you're not out to side cut them or try to get over on them or do the old wishy-washy thing or whatever. You're honest. You're straightforward. You're going to tell them the truth no matter what, no matter how much it hurts, no matter how much they don't want to hear it. You're going to give it to them. You're going to have that honesty. You're going to respect them no matter what, no matter how they carry themselves. You're going to still respect them. You're going to tell them that you respect them. And then if you feel like they're not respecting themselves, you're going to give them advice and say, you know what, it would be, you would look so much better and so much more professional if you carried yourself this way. And if you wasn't so revealing when you out in public and people didn't see so much of you, if you was a female or maybe a male, if you wasn't so arrogant, man, and thought you knew it all, you would shine a lot better. Give that advice to people like that, and also give that same advice to your children as well, because when you give that advice to people and your children see you giving that advice to people, now you're learning how to become a great role model for your children, and now your children respect you, and now they have honesty, respect, integrity for you, and now you are the role model that they want to follow. That's what you got to do. If you want to learn how to become a great role model for your children, become the person that everybody wants to follow. I'll say that again. If you want to learn how to become a great role model for your children, become the person that everybody wants to follow. And when you become the person that everybody wants to follow, your children definitely going to follow you. because now they're going to see how people talk about you, how people respect you, and the things that people do for you. And now they're going to want that same thing. So I just hope that you got something out of that message. And just remember that learning how to become a great role model for your children is the best thing that you could ever do to lead them to a level of success. Because the thing is, your children is only as successful as they see you become. I'll say that again. Your children are only as successful as they see you become. So think about that, because that has great weight. Because if your children see you become successful, they're going to want to be as successful as you are, because they know that you went out there and did what you needed to do to become successful. Now, if your children see you not being successful, they're not going to be successful, because they're going to say, hey, my mom and daddy did this and they live pretty good, so why don't I do this? You know, say like, for instance, if you grew up in a household of wasn't nothing in there but a bunch of drinking and partying and all that and selling drugs, it doesn't mean that because you grew up that way, that's the way you have to turn out to be. You can break that cycle, and you can change that cycle for your children as well. But you got to realize in your mind that that's not the lifestyle to live. You know, trust me, I'm speaking from experience, because I've been there and done it all. But I'm just saying, I had to realize when I was living those type of lifestyles that wasn't the type of role model that I wanted to be for my children. Because I knew that me doing that was not doing nothing but leading them into doing the same thing that I was doing. Or whoever I was around that I was being a role model of at that time, they turned out to be doing that right now to this day. Now, am I proud of it? No, because I wasn't a great role model. Because I taught them how to do wrong. But at the time, you know, I didn't know no better myself, because I was trying to make it. I was trying to get to where I needed to be. But when I realized that everything that I do, my children watch me do, or everything that people see me do, they do as well, and I'm setting an example for other people, I realize, hey, I got to change my ways and the way that I'm doing things if I want to be a good example for others. And that's the same way with your children. Whatever you're doing right now that's not setting a good role model, a great role model for your children, I suggest to you that you do something different, because you don't want your children to wind up unsuccessful in life. You don't want your children to wind up trapped in the system of the criminal justice system, and they make one mistake and it costs them their life. There's so many young youths right now that is smart and has the ability to become doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, and all things, but they're locked up behind bars because they did not have a great role model growing up. And I'm saying that to say this, because I want you to realize how much society has been crippled and blindsided by people not being great role models and great examples for their children. And we need to learn how to become a great role model for our children, because we want them to be a great role model for their children. So that's why I stress this so hard. Learning how to become a great learning how to become a great role model for our children is very important, because you want your children to be successful. But if you want your children to be successful, you got to show them how to be successful. And how do you show them how to be successful? Becoming a great role model for your children. Now, once again, thank each and every one of you all for stopping by my live this morning. Happy Saturday to everybody. But just do me a favor, like, comment, and share on this video, because I know that there's somebody out there that needs to hear this message, because they're struggling with learning how to become a great role model for their children. I know they are, because I can feel it in my spirit. I can feel that there's somebody out there right now that's struggling with learning how to become a great role model for their children and learning how to teach their children how to do the right thing. So I'm saying right now, be that great example. It starts with you. If you learn how to be a great role model, you can teach your children how to be a great role model. But you got to be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. You got to be the person that everybody wants to follow. When you become the person that everybody wants to follow, now you're learning how to become a great role model for our children, and now they will live a better life on this earth, more prosperous, more successful, and a lot of them will stop trading time for dollars. A lot of them will stop doing the 40-40 plan to work 40 hours a week to get a 40-hour paycheck to retire with 40% of their pay, because they will notice and they will see that it wasn't loyal to you and you didn't really get nowhere. So now why would they want to get trapped in the same system when you're showing them that there's a better way that they can make it? Be that great role model for your children. That's what it's all about. But like I said, I have a call to action this morning, which is powered by Sense, and it's my new product, which is Skin Tech, and it's a foam that you spray in, you rub it in, it cleans, moisturizes, and protects. Keeps you protected for up to 4 hours from bacteria, viruses, and all those harmful chemicals out there. So if you're interested, click the link below at ZenseMakesSense.com and get your Skin Tech today. And like I said, once again, thank each and every one of you all for stopping by my live this morning. Don't forget to like, comment, and share on this video, because I know there's people need to hear this, because a lot of people don't know how to be a great role model for their children. They've never had a clue because they've never had a great role model for themselves growing up. So they don't know how. You don't know how to be something if you've never been shown something. You know, you don't know how to do something if you've never seen somebody else do it. So a lot of people, it's hard. So that's why I want this message to get out there to kind of encourage them to be that. And like I said, click the link at ZenseMakesSense.com if you're interested in Skin Tech. And thank each and every one of you all. And if you're going out to work this morning, drive safe on the highway. Work safe when you get to work. But just remember this main thing that I want you to remember throughout the course of the period of your day today and all next week. I want you to remember, learn how to become a great role model for our children, because our children need us. We are their future. What they see us do is going to create their future when we're gone. So if we want to create a great future for them when we're gone, then we got to learn how to become a great role model. So it's based upon, it ain't what you do, it's how you do it. So that's what you got to remember. It ain't what you do, it's how you do it. And if you do things with honesty, respect, and integrity, you are that person that everybody wants to follow. So once again, thank each and every one of you all for stopping by my morning live this morning, my morning live wake ups. And then God bless you all and have a blessed day and goodbye.